Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Mark Lin. Namaskar. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India-U.S. partnership has weathered several transitions and challenges. Both sides remain focused on substantive agenda and will continue to move forward, says the Ministry of External Affairs. Ministry of External Affairs highlights steady India-Russia ties, says, and I quote, "Our ties with countries, they stand on their own merit and not from the prism of a third country. The India-Russia relationship is time-tested." Canada's Prime Minister says that he is disappointed with the Trump tariff hike decision. The South African president says intensive negotiations on tariffs ongoing with the United States. The 71st National Film Awards announced actors Shah Rukh Khan and Vikrant Massey jointly named as Best Actor for performances in Jawan and 12th Fail movie respectively, and Rani Mukherjee is named Best Actress. India-U.S. ties have weathered several transitions, but confident that the relationship will move forward. Briefing media, the MEA spokesperson Randeep Jaiswal said that India and the United States remain focused on the substantive agenda that the two countries have committed to and are confident that the relationship will continue to move forward.
India and the United States share a comprehensive global strategic partnership anchored in shared interests, democratic values, and robust people-to-people ties. This partnership has weathered several transitions and challenges. We remain focused on the substantive agenda that the two countries have committed to and are confident that the relationship will continue to move forward.
The Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson also highlighted the steady India-Russia relationship, saying that these ties are time-tested.
Our ties with any country, or all the ties that we have with various countries, they stand on their own merit, and they should not be seen from the prism of a third country. As far as India-Russia relations are concerned, we have a steady and time-tested partnership.
On the case of Nimisha Priya, the Indian national facing the death penalty in Yemen, the External Affairs Ministry has also said that the claims regarding the revocation of the death sentence of Nimisha Priya are incorrect. The External Affairs Ministry spokesperson has urged people to avoid misinformation and speculation on this sensitive matter.
That this is a sensitive and complex case, and therefore I would urge all to be mindful that media reports based on speculation and misinformation are not helpful at all. Insofar as the reports claiming that there has been certain developments, etc., such reports are incorrect. Please wait for an update from us. This is a sensitive matter, and we urge all sides to stay away from misinformation.
The monsoon session of Parliament is underway in Delhi. On Friday, the Parliament session saw a complete washout, with the opposition parties continuing their protest on the special intensive review of the electoral roll in Bihar. The protest and sloganeering continued on the floor of both houses, which led to repeated adjournments of both the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. The Speaker of the Lok Sabha and the Deputy Chairman of the Rajya Sabha requested repeatedly to the opposition MPs to go back to their seats for a smooth conduct of the House, but they did not relent. Due to repeated protests, both houses were adjourned for the day around 2 p.m. and they are going to reconvene at 11 a.m. on Monday. Both the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha have lost precious time because of these ongoing protests. India's Minister of State for External Affairs, Kirti Singh, said that the government closely monitors all developments in the Indian Ocean region impinging on India's security and economic interests and takes appropriate measures to safeguard India's interests. In a written reply in the lower house of Parliament on Friday, the minister said that India's relations with countries in the Indian Ocean region are comprehensive and also long-lasting, based on their own merit, and they are independent of their relations with any third countries. He said that countries such as Sri Lanka, Maldives and Mauritius occupy a central place in India's neighborhood first policy as well as the Mahasagar policy. Mahasagar stands for mutual and holistic advancement for security and growth across regions. Now, the Minister Kirti Vardhan Singh, he said that India's political relations with countries of the region are strong and trade and investment ties are also being augmented. He also said that development projects and infrastructural cooperation, these things are progressing with the countries, and there is, in fact, broad-based engagement across all sectors. The winners of the 71st National Film Awards were announced at the National Media Center in New Delhi on Friday. While Vidhu Vinod Chopra's 12th Fail won the award for the Best Feature Film, the National Award for Best Actor in a Leading Role was shared by Shah Rukh Khan for Jawan and Vikrant Massey for 12th Fail.
Best Actor in a Leading Role is also a shared award. The first one going to the Hindi film Jawan, awarded to the actor for delivering a powerhouse performance, balancing raw intensity and emotional depth, and bringing to life a hero who fights not just enemies, but societal boundaries, creating two unforgettable cinema personas. Actor Shah Rukh Khan. The second shared award is for the Hindi film 12th Fail, for portraying with raw honesty and emotional depth the transformative journey of a village boy, once aimless, later unstoppable, who rises to become an IPS officer. The actor is Vikrant Massey.
Meanwhile, Rani Mukherjee has been named for the National Award for Best Actress in a Leading Role for her performance in Mrs. Chatterjee versus Norway.
Best Actress in a Leading Role goes to the Hindi film Mrs. Chatterjee versus Norway, to the actress for her exceptional performance and portraying maternal love, resilience, and cultural conflict with piercing emotional clarity and unwavering authenticity. The actress is Rani Mukherjee.
As cybersecurity threats grow more sophisticated, from AI-driven malware to deepfake attacks, India is fortifying its digital defenses. The Bharat National Cybersecurity Exercise, or Bharat NCX 2025, held in New Delhi, brought together over 300 experts to tackle these challenges head-on. Organized by the National Security Council Secretariat and the Rashtriya Raksha University, this two-week drill started on the 21st of July and concluded today, and it simulated real-world cyber threats to critical infrastructure, testing the nation's resilience. With a focus on collaboration and innovation, the event also showcased cutting-edge solutions from Indian startups. From live-fire simulations to strategic decision-making, Bharat NCX 2025 has strengthened India's cybersecurity framework, fostering collaboration across sectors. As digital threats evolve, this exercise underscores India's commitment to safeguarding its cyberspace. As part of the Indian Navy's ongoing operational deployment to Southeast Asia, the Indian naval ships INS Delhi, Shakti and Kiltan of the Eastern Fleet arrived in Manila in the Philippines. The visits, they reaffirm the strategic importance of the event and the high-level engagement with the Philippines Navy, also representing India's maritime outreach in the region. And during the port call, several harbor interactions are scheduled between the Indian Navy and the Philippines Navy. So these include operational planning discussions, subject matter expert exchanges, cross-deck visits, and other professional and social engagements aimed at enhancing mutual learning and interoperability. The The visit will also feature a bilateral maritime exercise between the two navies. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to visit his parliamentary constituency, Varanasi, in Uttar Pradesh. And this is going to happen on the 2nd of August. He's going to inaugurate and lay the foundation stone of multiple infrastructure and development projects. These are valued at approximately 2,200 crore rupees. And the projects, they are aimed at boosting connectivity, urban development, also public amenities in the region. And they are part of the ongoing efforts to transform Varanasi into a smart and sustainable city, spanning sectors such as infrastructure, education, healthcare, tourism, cultural heritage, and urban development, with key highlights including road and power upgrades, riverfront and beautification of 21 parks, 47 drinking water schemes under the Jal Jeevan mission, enhanced school and hospital facilities. The Election Commission of India published the draft electoral roll in the eastern state of Bihar on Friday under the Special Intensive Revision Initiative. The physical and digital format of the electoral roll is being provided to all recognized political parties in all 38 districts of Bihar by the district election officers. Now, the Chief Electoral Officer of Bihar and 243 electoral officers will invite the voters or any recognized political parties to file their objections. This is, regarding any discrepancy in the electoral roll. The objections can be made from the 1st of August to the 1st of September 2025. The voters can also check their details at the ECI website. The ECI has issued instructions for conducting special intensive revision exercise in Bihar on the 24th of last month. The objective of the exercise, it was to ensure the inclusion of names of all eligible citizens in the electoral roll in a transparent manner. The last intensive revision for Bihar was conducted by the Election Commission way back in 2003. Let's take a look at news from around the world now. And to combat wildlife trafficking, South African scientists are inserting radioactive material into rhino horns to make them traceable and less desirable to poachers. This initiative is known as the Rhizotope Project, and it's led by the University of Witwatersrand, and also it's supported by the International Atomic Energy Agency. The honey harvest season has officially begun in the Turkish northeastern province of Artvin. It's known for its rich biodiversity and unspoilt natural environment. The first flower honey of the season was extracted in the village of Petek during a public ceremony on Tuesday. A powerful mud flow impacted the town of Tyryanus in Russia's Caucasus region, leading to evacuations as well as damage to infrastructure. Mud flow damage, the mud flow damaged the supports that were around there of the bridge on the federal highway that leads to the Elbrus resort. A state of emergency has been declared in the Elbrus district. Still to come here on DD India Live, the DRC and Rwanda hold their first talks after peace deal to end the long-standing conflict in the mineral-rich region. Spain airdrops 12 tons of humanitarian aid in Gaza.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Mark Lynn. The Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda have held their first talks after signing a peace deal to end decades of deadly conflict in the mineral-rich eastern Congo. The eastern DRC, which is a region bordering Rwanda with lucrative natural resources, has been plagued by violence for more than 3 decades, and the unrest has claimed thousands of lives. The crisis intensified earlier this year when the M23 armed group and the Rwandan troops captured the major city of Goma in January. The Eastern Court of Justice has set out tough conditions for governments to declare migrants' countries of origin as safe for return. The decision potentially complicating Italy's efforts to process asylum seekers in offshore centers in Albania. In a statement, Prime Minister Meloni, she called the decision of the court, she called the court ruling surprising, and she said that it weakens policies to combat mass illegal immigration and defend national borders. The case is based on a complaint from 2 Bangladeshis who were rescued in the Mediterranean and taken to Albania. The British police have arrested 10 men over historical child sexual abuse allegations in northern England on Friday. The allegations relate to offences which are reported to have occurred between 1994 and 1997 and relate to 6 victims who were aged 13 and 15 at the time. Detective Chief Inspector of Bradford District Police said that safeguarding and protecting children remains the top priority for West Yorkshire Police. The U.S. President Donald Trump signed an executive order on Thursday imposing new tariffs on exports from dozens of trading partners, including Canada, Brazil, and Taiwan, ahead of a Friday trade deal deadline. This includes a 35% duty on many goods from Canada, 50% from Brazil, 25% for India, 20% for Taiwan, and 39% for Switzerland. Meanwhile, China is facing an August 12 deadline to reach a durable tariff agreement with the Trump administration. The order listed higher import duty rates of 10% to 41% starting in 7 days for 69 trading partners as the deadline approached. Goods from all other countries not listed would be subject to 10% U.S. import tax. Previously in fact, Trump had previously said that the rate might be higher. However, in the minor reprieve that the White House has mentioned, they've said that measures will take effect in a week. The policy includes certain exemptions, goods that are loaded onto ships by August 7 and they reach the United States by October 5. They're going to be subject to these new rates, but provided they are not going to be subject to these new rates, provided that they are already in transit. The Trump administration also has brought out another executive order signed by President Trump, increasing the tariffs on Canadian goods to 35% from 25% on all products not covered by the U.S.-Mexico-Canada trade agreement. So the new levies, they come into effect from August 1. The Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney has expressed disappointment as the U.S. has raised these tariffs on Canadian goods to 35% from 25%. He said that the U.S. has cited the cross-border flow of fentanyl to justify its step, even though Canada accounts for just 1% of the U.S. fentanyl imports and has been working intensively to reduce those volumes. The Canadian Prime Minister also vowed action to protect Canadian jobs, to buy Canadian goods, to invest in industrial competitiveness, as well as to diversify export markets. And still with the U.S. President Donald Trump, he has announced that South African products exported to the U.S. will be hit by a 30% tariff from 7th of August. South Africa faces the highest rate in sub-Saharan Africa. Meanwhile, the President, Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa, speaking to reporters in Pretoria, he said that his administration will use the week-long delay in the U.S.'s imposition of 30% tariffs to find a way to settle the matter.
Our negotiations with the United States are continuing. And let's be clear, South Africa is not the only country that is dealing with this crisis. And many other countries, some of which are in a much worse situation than we are.
Meanwhile, President Trump said that Canada must pay a fair rate after raising tariffs on certain Canadian goods from 25% to 35%.
Well, they have to pay a fair rate. That's all. It's very simple. They have been charging very, very high tariffs to our farmers, some over 200%. And they've been treating our farmers very badly. They've been treating our country very badly for years.
And Donald Trump has given Mexico a 90-day reprieve from the higher tariffs to negotiate a broader trade deal. The extension, which avoids a 30% tariff on most Mexican non-automotive and non-metal goods, compliant with the U.S.-Mexico-Canada Agreement on Trade, came after a Thursday morning call between President Trump and the Mexican President, Claudia Sheinbaum. And he confirmed that the current tariffs, including a 25% duty on fentanyl-related goods and cars and a 50% levy on steel, aluminum and copper, will remain unchanged throughout the extension period. He also noted that Mexico had agreed to immediately eliminate its non-tariff trade barriers, which had previously hindered cross-border commerce. The president of Taiwan, Lai Ching-te, has said that the new 20% tariff rate set up by the Trump administration on goods imported from the island is provisional, and that the government expects to negotiate a lower rate.
So far, the negotiations have achieved some interim progress. The tax rate has been reduced from 32% to 20%. However, the 20% tariff rate was never Taiwan's target to begin with. We will continue negotiations and strive for a rate that's more favorable for Taiwan. The US government has also expressed its willingness to engage in further discussions with Taiwan on this matter.
As the global concern over the humanitarian crisis in Gaza intensifies, the U.S. Special Envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff, and the U.S. Ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, they visited an aid distribution site in Gaza today. Earlier, the U.S. Special Envoy met the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Thursday, and this is Witkoff's second visit to Gaza. This year, Witkoff has been the top U.S. representative in indirect negotiations between Israel and Hamas for a ceasefire and hostage release deal. But talks in Doha broke down last week, and Israel and the United States recalled their delegations. Israel is under mounting international pressure to agree to a ceasefire and allow the world to, to give Gaza lots of food. With Canada and Portugal, the latest Western governments to announce plans to recognize a Palestinian state. The U.S. President Donald Trump on Thursday described the situation in Gaza as terrible, and he said that the United States recently contributed $60 million for food aid, but Hamas had diverted money and food resources.
Oh, it's terrible what's occurring there, yeah. It's a terrible thing. People are very hungry. You know, the United States gave $60 million for food, and it's a shame because nobody, I don't see the results of it, and we gave it to people that in theory are watching over it fairly closely. We wanted Israel to watch over it. Part of the problem is Hamas is taking the money and they're taking the food. But we gave $60 million a couple of weeks ago. Nobody said anything about it.
Spain delivered 12 tons of humanitarian aid to Gaza by airdropping it over the Strip on Friday. The operation involved one Airbus A400 military aircraft, dropping over 5,500 food rations. The Gaza Strip is on the brink of famine. UN agencies had warned on Wednesday. Malnutrition is soaring and children under 5 are dying of hunger-related causes, with humanitarian access severely restricted. Let's get you the sports news. And India have taken 2 wickets in a short span of time as England batters Zach Crawley and Ollie Pope departed in the post-lunch session on day 2 of the 5th test at the Oval. England have crossed the 150-run mark now, and Joe Root and Harry Brook are at the crease. But the England openers, Crawley and Ben Duckett, had stitched an explosive 92-run partnership to start the innings off in quite, an explosive manner. They both, in fact, slamming a half-century. So, however, England bowled out India for 224 runs on the second day of the fifth and final test at the Oval. India had their resistance lasted only 28 minutes in the morning, 34 balls in all, and Gus Atkinson picked up 5 wickets to dismiss the visitors early in the morning session. Karun Nair top scored for India with 57. The All India Football Federation on Friday appointed Khalid Jamil as the head coach of the Indian men's national team. In fact, Jamal is his name. He becomes the first Indian to hold this post since Savio Madeira in 2011 and 12. Jamil replaces Manolo Marquez, who stepped down last month after a winless tenure that stretched over a year of competitive matches. The Mumbai Cricket Association on Thursday announced that the Indian cricket legend Sunil Gavaskar and the veteran administrator Sharad Pawar will be honored with life-size statues at the entrance of the upcoming MCA, Sharad Pawar Cricket Museum at the Wankhede Stadium. So the museum is a tribute to Mumbai's rich cricketing heritage and the legendary figures who have shaped its success. That's all we have in this edition of DD India Live. Thank you very much for watching. Namaskar.